Welcome to your daily writing habit, episode number 700. If you are writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing your book but you need some help getting it done, you are in the right place. Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh. If you're looking for me online, look for Christine Inc., like that stuff we write with. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 19 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that three things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they have the ability to turn a quote-unquote non-author into a published one. Those three things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. And once again, good morning, and once again, happy episode 700. Just want to say thank you to all of you, my loyal listeners, especially those of you who have been with me for all 700 episodes the last few years. That's quite the epic accomplishment as an author, so please feel proud of yourselves. And thank you so much for your commitment to your writing habits and also for just tuning in every day. I really super appreciate that. And just kind of a refresh of my mission on this show to help you write and finish writing a great book, one that will stand out from the crowd of all the other books. So I'm very excited to have done that for 700 times at this point. So here we go. Here is today's quote. I think unconscious bias is one of the hardest things to get at. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And, I think we're all fairly familiar with the concept of bias at this point. It's a pretty, frequently mentioned topic out there, and how it's built into us as human beings. We're biased, let's all admit it, to a certain degree, and usually unconsciously, about what we notice and what we don't, what we agree, what we disagree with, what we like, what we don't like. And yes, this includes books. As much as we like to think that when we like or dislike a book, it's for totally rational, conscious, intelligent, perceptible, awesome, amazing author reasons, but that's not always the case. Our natural human bias doesn't magically shut off just because we're talking about the thing that we really like and we know a whole lot about, books. Even when we're reading a book, we are being unconsciously drawn toward or repelled away from things that trigger us, whether for good or bad. Something a character says or does, a certain location or setting, or even an analogy used to make a point in a nonfiction book or a business book. Any of those things can start connecting dots in our subconscious between ideas and feelings. And for the most part, all of this is happening without us even realizing it. So what's my point here for us as authors? Well, if we're all doing this as we read, keep in mind that your readers are doing the same when they read your work. I believe there's even probably a bias spectrum, I kind of imagine in my head, at play in Amazon reviews especially. So, on one side of the spectrum are people for some reason have like the one-star reviews and things like that. They have a very dramatic reaction to a book. I think to have a one star, it's not just that the book would have to be really terrible to be completely worthy of a one-star review. I think that's where bias comes to play. Something in that book, I would venture to guess, dramatically and negatively triggered that person, or maybe a few somethings. So I would say that's one end of the spectrum, the people that are dramatically and negatively triggered, probably for reasons of bias mixed in there. Again, legitimate reasons, obviously, why books are very bad. But, to give a one-star review, I think it's a little bit personal. And in the middle, there's people who, they're maybe not particularly triggered by anything in it. They have a positive opinion of your book, but, they're not, jumping off cliffs to tell everybody about it. They're so excited about it. So, the ones in the middle are the ones that, they have a legit positive opinion of your book. Then at the far right, there are readers who love, love, love your book and can't wait to shout about it from the rooftops to their friends. And yes, the quality of your book absolutely contributes to this, but also, I would venture to bet that something you shared in your book somehow connected with that reader on a familiar emotional level. In other words, they related to something in your book in a really strong way. And it's possible that the thing they connected with personally wasn't even in your book. Maybe there was something close that reminded them of it. Either way, good for you and good for your book reviews. So here's the lesson today. When receiving negative feedback about your book, resist the urge to take every little thing completely personally and literally. especially if the feedback either maybe seems a bit off in its logic, it just doesn't seem to make sense, or if the feedback doesn't seem to be part of a pattern of feedback that matches up to with the other reviews. Remember, human bias, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but a constant reminder that human beings are not always the most logical, rational creatures on the planet. We are not, even when it comes to something that we as authors take quite seriously, our books. So go ahead and add bias under the heading of why it's important not to take things personally, even though writing your book is indeed a highly personal endeavor. Thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I am helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And please drop by my Ink Authors group, especially, hey, let's have a party in Ink Authors today. It's episode number 700. Woohoo! Yeah, let's go party in Ink Authors on Facebook. And that's the place you can go for motivation, accountability, book writing, publishing resources, and more. And I always drop the link in the show notes. Thanks again, everyone. And until tomorrow, happy writing.